Good evening. Back again. John here, John Augustine. That's the one I was christened. Uh, Augustine. There was a little program there on EWTN last night about Saint Ambrose, who was a, who was in Milan, and a very important saint that defended the Catholic faith against the Arian heresy. And he wasn't afraid to speak the truth, even to the emperor, who ordered him to do something which he refused to do. And the emperor came and he told the emperor to repent and be in sackcloth and ashes. And the emperor did what he said and repented, because he had attacked some place and there was a lot of people killed. And this is why St. Ambrose said that. And he was also the St. Augustine was following the Manchurian or whatever it is, some sect that St. Ambrose was, because he was very learned and he was able to sort of use his great brain to defeat them. And Milan was full of them, but by the time he was finished, there was none left there. And when St. Augustine come across him and found him very inspirational. And it was St. Ambrose that was the cause of St. Augustine being converted and becoming a great saint, a doctor of the church, the same as St. Ambrose. And it was marvellous. And of course, his mother, St. Monica, her prayers were answered, because she prayed for St. Augustine for years that he be converted from what he was at. He was a very learned fellow, but he was into something other than religion, politics or something of that caliber. So, and it was tighten the belt. Were you ever on a plane? Well, I'm sure you were. And the next thing is they're telling you to tighten your belt as it's taken off, and so on and so forth. And they're giving various instructions. But funny enough, when I get on the plane, I don't know what it is, but I become tired. I can tend to doze for some reason. It's an age, I wonder. But no, it was as far as I remember. And so your business of tightening your belt, the next thing is I'd get a bit of a shake and say, listen, tighten your belt there. And the air hostess would be kind of vexed. Oh, I said, sorry, I just dozed off there. What were you saying about tightening the belt? Oh, put on your belt. I went, right. And but she put it on anyway, because by the time I said, I wonder where the thing is that I put it on. But anyway, she put it on. And then you'd be going along, and then they'd say, I don't know whether they said it or did it come up in some bit of a thing with jigs over your head. You could loosen your belt and more or less take it off. And then they might be coming around with something that you would eat or have a drink or that, feeling a bit jittery. And but then sometimes when you're going along, the next thing is it come over, tighten your belt again. So you have to tighten your belt, and she's going, we're meeting turbulence. It might come over. And the word turbulence doesn't strike it as a kind of a, because she's going up and down a bit. They would say thunder and lightning or something. So here you are, tighten your belt again. Now, that's the business of aeroplanes. And then you have to tighten your belt as she's descending. You hope that she'll land smoothly and won't be bouncing off the runway. Saw a plane land in the sea one time, because they got a flock of seagulls, or not seagulls, big birds or something, and because that just wouldn't go and the pilot was great, he landed in the Hudson in New York, the Hudson River, and people were saved. They were all cheering. Great pilot that fellow was. Imagine coming down, and he had to come down, and how he managed to get that big plane down without a loss of life is a mystery, that there wasn't something on the river that would have caused a crash or something. Isn't it funny, if the man above you is with you, you're going to be safe. Anyways, then there's the tighten your belt with regard to nowadays. Things has gone up. My electricity bill used to be around 100 mark, give or take, and the central heating was well within reason. That's gone sky high for what was, let's put it this way, so 200 and odd, because it was 600 and odd. Thank you very much. How was your father? And the next thing is electricity. I think it's gone up 4 times than what it was, because mine was coming up to 400 for 2 months, and I'm on my Todd Sweeney, but I'm, on my own. So be God, and you have to have a bit of heat, because funny enough, when things go high, and then you're told to tighten your belt because things got more expensive. And if you've got a motor car, diesel was more expensive than the petrol there for a long time, but now it's coming down. Diesel is cheaper. So I don't know who's responsible for that it suits yours truly, because mine is diesel. And it was paying more than petrol, which it used to be always cheaper. Somebody said it was the Green Party was the cause of it. I don't know what they were doing in the petrol business. But anyways, you don't know what sort of what's going on. But I just know things have gone sky high. So the word is tighten your belt. I remember that years ago, when if you had the jingle in your pocket, you were wealthy. Money was as scarce as hen's teeth. That's a fact. So anyways, tighten the belt. Well, now, there comes a time when you reach a certain age, you can't keep tightening your belt. Okay, when you're young, maybe you have a family, you've got to try and feed them, and money is going out like flying out of your pocket. You don't get a hold of it at all. You can't maybe even go on a bit of a holiday. You might go away for a weekend. That's not much up to much, because sometimes you want to stay in a nice place. The best thing you could afford these times with tightening your belt is maybe a caravan park, and they're looking for big bucks too. They've been tightening their belt, and they're trying to then make up for lost time, charging a bit more than they should. So what do? Maybe have your own tensions, make them nice and comfortable, and that kind of thing. You might have to stay in a tent for your holidays. Tighten the belt. Anyways, that's just an example. I just gave a few examples. And of course, if you're in a car and you forget to put on tighten your belt, put it around. And if a guard stops you, what's the story then? And he'll say to you, you didn't tighten your belt. And you say, what, me belt? What are you talking about? The belt that you put around you for safety. Well, what's the use of the belt? Supposing you have an emergency and you want to get out, and that the belt, you mightn't be too healthy, and to try and open that belt, what's going to happen? You have to tighten your belt, he says. Well, I don't like tightening my belt when you're in case it's an emergency. Well, this is your first war, and I am afraid I'm going to have to put you down in my book. Oh, are you going to read me a letter? He said, well, yes, he says, this will be the first letter. And when you get the second letter, the business about the belt, tightening the belt, you'd be entitled to a free bicycle. I've given up riding bicycles a good while. I mean, I don't think I'd be more vulnerable on a bicycle. I mean, look at the traffic. How are you going to go on a bicycle? That's what he said. Your second letter you'll have to get a bicycle. Otherwise, you won't be allowed to drive a car. So there you are. That's life, isn't it? Tighten the belt. So, no, I'm not going to tighten the belt whatsoever, but you have to tighten it in the car, of course, for safety, because otherwise, if he stops you. And as a matter of fact, I saw some of them there today stopping people. Lorries and all, probably checking to see was the proper diesel and that type of thing. But I was waved on. And because took a squint to see was everything all right on the dashboard, everything up to date. And I said, what? You wouldn't want to be caught out of happening. Lucky enough, I had the belt on. I wouldn't like to be going to get another letter. Right, well, have a good day. So tighten your belt wherever you are, because things are going expensive. And the weather has been so cold, you have to have the heating on, don't you? I have to have the central heating on. frisbee kind of if I don't have it on. So there you are, have it on. Imagine having it on the 25th of April. Are we ever going to get a bit of heat, I wonder? I remember one time in June, it was that cold. There was only one sunny day, and it was the which weekend, first week in June. The rest of the time it was raining, and it never went above 14 degrees. Frizz. Okay, have a good evening. Bye now. That's me prayer time. Tighten your belt. Bye now.